Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jocelyn if you don't know me. I am currently 21 years old. I will be 22 in January. Um, I am a mom to a 1-year-old, or a toddler, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, excuse that wire right there. I know this is not my usual place to record, but my room is a mess, and I'm sick, so I don't feel like cleaning it, so yeah. That's why I look like the way I do, and no, I don't care. You can comment about it all you want. I really could care less. Anyway, so I posted a poll on Instagram yesterday about what video you wanted me to do, clean my room or my story, and it was 50-50, and I checked it multiple times this morning and it was still at 50-50. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Jocelyn Smith. I will make sure it's down in the description, because my name is really hard to spell and a lot of people get it wrong all the time. So yeah, we're going to discuss my story. Now, this is probably going to cause a lot of controversy in my small town, and also with the people that I went to school with at this time. So that's okay. I'm used to it. My whole 4 years of high school were nothing but controversies. So yeah, don't care. Care less. Anyway, so when I was a sophomore in high school, I was dating a kid. Um, we have been together maybe, I don't know, like 6 months. I have no idea. Anyway, I was dating a kid, and I'm not gonna put his name out. He knows who he is. Everybody knows who he is that went to school with me, or just knows me in general, like, in person, that lives in my state or whatever. Anyway, so when I was 16, I had went to a house party with a friend of mine that used to be my best friend and no longer my best friend. And I was, there, and a man apparently was watching me all night that I didn't even know was there, but apparently he was. I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping not to cry in this video because it is still a thing that I fight with every single day, and I am in therapy for it, and it affects my relationships, and it affects, my friendships with men, and, just being around a man in general. Like, it's a very traumatic thing. Anyway, his fiance at the time, ex-fiance now, she asked me to babysit and babysit her daughter. So I said, yeah, because her daughter was on the cheerleading squad that my mom ran at my sister's elementary slash middle school, Alloway. So I already knew the girl, plus I was best friends with her cousin, so that's the party that I went to. If this is probably gonna be all over the place, I'm really really sorry. It's a really hard thing to discuss, even though I was 16 at the time and I'm 21 now. It's still 5 years doesn't really, like, it doesn't make it any easier to deal with or talk about or think about or anything. So this is a really serious video. And if you can't handle the topic of rape or sexual assault or molestation or any of that, please do not watch this video. I do not want to upset anyone. But this is my story, and I should be the one to tell it, and not everybody else, because nobody else was there, nobody else was in court, nobody else, it didn't happen to anybody else besides me. So if you are not me, and you are not the person that did it to me, it's not your story to tell. So, basically, I went over and I babysitted the girl. The woman, and I'm not going to discuss and disclose any of their names. I'll just come up with different names, unless you know me personally or went to high school with me, you know exactly who they are, or unless you're that person yourself. So we'll call the guy Ted, and we'll call the little girl Julia, and we'll call her mom Fiona. Okay. So I was watching Fiona's daughter, Julia. Mind you, these are not the real names. I will never disclose the real names unless, they disclose it themselves. I don't know. So I was watching her daughter, and Fiona was supposed to take me home instead of Ted. That's what she told my mom, and my mom said, okay, that's fine. Mind you, we literally lived like one road away. So like you would go down my mom's road and make a right, and their road would be the next road on the right. So within like what, 5 miles of each other. So it was like only a 5 minute drive home, you know. So Ted and Fiona get home, and instead of Fiona taking me home, Ted does. So we pull out of his driveway, and immediately, like, he was, talking to me, and like I had no problem with it. I never really had trust issues with men until this experience. So, oh my god. So, he makes a right out of his driveway. Well, I thought he was just going to use the other road to the right to go up to my mom's house. Instead, he proceeds to drive me all the way to Woodstown, to the Woodstown Wawa. When we get there, oh, this is so hard to talk about. He put his hand on my shirt, and he grabbed my boobs. And when he did that, he scratched me. I have a scar that's from that. And I will get into like the DNA and everything that was found in it. And then when we got, after that happened, I like pushed him off, but he was quite bigger than me. Like when I was 16, I only weighed maybe 100 pounds, if not less. I've always been very tiny my entire life. The only time I've ever gained weight more than 5 pounds was when I was pregnant with my son. That was it. And I gained maybe 45 pounds, maybe less, maybe some more. I'm not exactly quite sure. So, yeah. So he was a lot bigger than me. So, being a little girl at 16, only weighing, 100 pounds soaking wet, like, it's really kind of hard to push a person off. So I pushed him off, and he was like, I have to go in the Wawa to go to the bathroom. And I said, fine. So we both get out of the car, and at that point, like, I kind of had like this feeling that maybe something would happen, but I was so scared, like I had no idea what to do. All of my stuff was in his vehicle. His vehicle was locked, so if I got out and I like ran to get help, like, he was literally like, I wouldn't have gotten all of my stuff out. Like, and at that point, like, my mom was still a single mom of both me and my sister, and there was like a $200 laptop sitting in there in his car that my mom would literally kill me if I lost. So I went into the Wawa, and kind of just like stood next to him, but not too close, so I still looked really, really, really awkward. And even the lady that, like, he, because he had purchased cigarettes, the lady kind of just looked at me and like gave me a look like are you okay? And we got back out of the Wawa, and he put his hand on my shirt again. Well, when this happened for the second time, there was people standing inside the Wawa, and they saw it happen, and nobody did anything. And I think that's the most heartbreaking thing out of all of this, is that all these people saw this and nobody even helped out. That's what's so wrong with our world nowadays. Instead of helping people that are getting hurt or, fighting or anything, we're so quick to take out our phones, but we're not quick enough to call 911 or to break it up or to help. And that needs to change. A lot of people are getting hurt and nobody's doing anything about it, and that is wrong. If that was me standing in there, I would have called 911, or I would have went out and I would have been like, don't touch her, or anything like that. That's not okay. So as we're pulling out of Wawa, he pulls out a wad of money, and he starts throwing it at me, and is making some vulgar statements, which to this day I still can't bring myself to say out loud. That's part of my it's part of my therapy. When something like this happens, it's the hardest thing for the victim, not only going to court and dealing with it, is being able to look themselves in the mirror and say, I was sexually assaulted. I'm a survivor. That's probably the hardest thing. And it took me up until now, up until probably my last 3 therapy appointments to be able to say that. And it's been 5 years. So, um, anyway, we ended up going through Woodstown. I'm not exactly quite sure which way we went. And we ended up on Commissioner's Pike, and I don't know if you guys know what road that is. People that are in New Jersey or live in Alloway know exactly what road that is. And he was still making vulgar comments at me, asking me all these really, really weird and personal questions. And then he proceeded to push me down to the seat and sexually assault me. And I couldn't do anything. Literally. I tried to fight him, I tried to push him off, and I couldn't. Like, he was too much. Yeah, he was bigger than me. He was so much more powerful than I was. He was a grown man, and I was a teenager. I was still technically a little girl. I won't give too much detail of what exactly happened because I can't say it out loud, and I sometimes have a really hard time processing what exactly happened. So after that, he took me home, and mind you, when I left his house, it was like 11:30. I didn't get home until 1:30 in the morning. So basically, he kidnapped me and then sexually assaulted me, among verbally assaulting me and just trashing my whole self-esteem and everything else, and calling me all these names and saying he wanted to do all this stuff to me. So when we pulled into my driveway, I grabbed all of my stuff, and my boyfriend at the time, he said, Ted said that he wanted to meet him, and my last words to him were, stay away from me. And I slammed the door. Well, when I walked into my house, my mom was asleep on the couch, and I couldn't process what had just happened to me. So I just said hi to my mom, and she said hi back, and fell asleep. And she could sleep now that she knew I was home. Fully fall asleep instead of being in and out. And I remember going upstairs to my upstairs bathroom and laying on my bathroom floor, sick to my stomach. There's no words to express the pain and the nastiness I felt, to the point where I took a shower and I scrubbed my skin so hard because I wanted to get that dirty feeling off my skin, that when I got out of the shower, I still felt dirty. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, it wasn't that bad, or, have a lot of things to say like they did in high school. But I really don't care what your opinion is of this. I don't care if you believe it. I do not care. This is my story, and I'm here to tell it. So, the next morning, I was still on the bathroom floor. And I got ready for school. And I went to school and really didn't talk to anybody. And 3 days passed since that happened. And I told my current boyfriend what happened. And I told a close friend of mine. And looking back now, I'm so thankful that friend did what she did, because if not, I probably wouldn't have ever pressed charges or anything. I probably wouldn't have. She reported it on my school's website, anonymously, but I knew it was her. Everyone had told me that it was her. I got a call down to the guidance office, and my favorite guidance counselor was asking me, it was my last period, and she said, Jocelyn, sit down. And I said, okay, fine, whatever. And she asked me, did anything happen to you that you didn't want? In words, in some kind of words like that. They're basically just asking that question, but not in those plain words. And I said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, Jocelyn, you need to tell me if something happened. And I said, nothing happened. I don't know what you're talking about. And that's like one thing that a victim will do. They will sit there and they will say, you know, from the moon all the way down to the sand, that nothing ever happened to them. Or they don't want to talk about it. And if something did happen to them, that they're fine. Or, you know, that's very normal for a person to do, especially when they've, you know, been hurt. And she just kept asking and asking and asking. And I remember I got so mad that I slammed my hand down on a table that had a couple picture frames on it, because I was just so angry that, for one, she knew, for two, that this happened to me, and for three, I didn't want to talk about it. And she kept asking me, Jocelyn, Jocelyn, Jocelyn. So then the principal at the time, he came in and he said, Jocelyn, I need you to tell me what happened. And I looked at him and I said, nothing happened. And my guidance counselor said, Jocelyn, I need you to tell me what happened. I've already called your mom and I've called your grandmother. And I said, nothing happened. And I remember I sat there in silence. And my mom and my grandmom, they showed up to the school. And my mom and my mom walked in. And my mom said, Jocelyn, what happened? You can tell me. And I said, Mom, nothing happened to me. And my mom said, Jocelyn, look at me. Put, what happened? And Put is her nickname for me. And I said, Mommy, nothing happened to me. I'm fine. And she said, Jocelyn, tell me what happened. Please tell me what happened. Who did it? Do I know him? And I kind of just looked down. And I shook my head. Yeah. And then my mom said, who is it? Tell me. And I shook my head. No. And my worst fear was telling them who it was, because when we pulled out of the Wawa, he threatened that if I ever said anyone, that he would hurt me and he would hurt my family, and I didn't want him to go after my sister. So my mom said, do I know him? And I shook my head, yeah. And she asked me who it was, and I wasn't gonna tell her. And then, I don't know how she figured it out, but she said, was it Ted? And as soon as she said his name, his real name, of course, I was looking down and I kind of looked at her. And she said, are you serious? It was him. And I put my head down and then said, yeah. And my mom had a few choice words to say. And my guidance counselor, she hugged me. And the principal was telling me it was going to be okay. And my mom, like, she was like, oh my God, you know, freaking out on my mom. She was so mad. And the principal said, Jocelyn, I called the police. They have to come here and talk to you. And I said, well, can I just go to their station? And he said, yeah. So my mom and I drove to the Woodstown State Police Barracks. And they interviewed me. And I told them what had happened and who it was. And I was interviewed for probably 5 hours that night. And I hadn't really ate since the day before he attacked me. Well, he touched me. And so I was really hungry, and I kept asking my mom, when is it going to be over? I'm hungry, I just want to go get something to eat. And my mom said, soon babe, it's going to be over soon. and my mom and I went to get something to eat, and the Women's Services of Salem County called my mom. That's where I had been going for therapy throughout my parents' divorce, so they already knew me. So when they saw my name on a file, they immediately jumped up and took it immediately. And my mom drove me all the way to Underwood Hospital, and I had to see a SANE nurse, which is a sexual assault nurse examiner. And she took pictures, and she swabbed me and looked for DNA and everything. And going back to my scar, I had a cut from his fingernails right here, and they found traces of his DNA. And they found traces of his DNA in other places as well. So he was basically caught. So after that, I went home and I still felt sick, and I showered probably 3 times a day because I felt so disgusting, and to this day I still feel that way. Still feel so dirty, and I just want to shower all the time. And I went home and I didn't go back to school for a little bit. I think maybe 2 to 3 days. Because I had so many police interviews and, everything else that I had to deal with. And when I went back to school, his niece was in my class, and she was my best friend. That's how he found out who I was, because he watched me at her party. And I could smell him on her, and that upset me so much I had to go down to the guidance office, and I couldn't go back to class. So my mom would, she came and got me and took me home. And after maybe 4 days, everybody in the school found out. And this is when it got really, really, really hard for me. A lot of people said that I cried rape. First of all, I didn't cry rape because I was never raped. There's a difference between rape and sexual assault, and if you don't know the difference, there's a Google for a reason. Secondly, people said that I was a whore and that I deserved it. For you to even say that is so beyond ignorant, it's ridiculous. Nobody deserves anything like that. And the third thing was that people said that I wanted it. I was 16 and he was 43, and he's my second cousin. And I had a boyfriend. Why would I want my cousin touching me, for one? And for two, he's 43 freaking years old. Are you serious? So for all you people that out there that said that, and I'm sure you're going to watch this as soon as I upload it, you guys are so closed-minded, and, you're ignorant. Honestly, you're so rude, and I hope you all know that you literally trashed the rest of my high school. The rest of those years. Trashed them. Because you guys were just such assholes. And I hope that you guys feel so bad. You probably don't, but that's okay. That's alright. I've dealt with you guys being dicks, so it's fine. Anyway, because of everybody finding out at my school, I could no longer attend classes because it was not best for me. It was a safety hazard. Their words, not mine. So I left school and I went into a program where my grandmother's very close friend, she was teaching at Woodstown, she would come to my house and for probably maybe 4 to 5 hours every day when she would get done school, and she basically helped me to pass my sophomore year of high school. I left school in April, and I didn't go back to actual school until September of my junior year. I returned once to that school for it was some type of ceremony or something that I was in, and when I walked in, everybody was staring at me, and there was a rumor going around that I left school because I was on house arrest, and I had an anklet. I've never been on house arrest ever. I've never had an anklet. I've never even been arrested. So, whoever started that, you're dumb. Um,
So,
the rest of that year was really tough. It was extremely tough on myself. It was tough on my family. I was going to therapy probably maybe once to maybe 2 times a week. Um, but by the grace of God, I passed my sophomore year. I actually got better grades when I was at home than I did when I was in school. My boyfriend and I had broken up because he would call me a few choice names, and he knows what he did, so I'm not even going to put him on blast. Um, since then, he has apologized, and he said that he feels really, really bad. Um, so when my junior year came around, they sent me a schedule, and I looked at my mom and I said, "What do you think I should do?" And she said, "Baby, if you want to go back, you can go back." She said, "But you got to put on the bravest face that you have ever had." And, mind you, I was still going to court. Ted had been arrested. He was in jail for 3 weeks before his father bailed him out, and his father is also a registered sex offender. So the apple doesn't fall far from that tree. And when they were doing the investigation, they found a bunch of stuff on his computer, and they found out that I was not the first, and I was not the last that he did something to, which made me feel 10 times worse. So I went back to school, and I remember getting off the bus and walking in those doors, and everybody in that cafeteria stared at me. And they just stared. Mind you, they hadn't seen me from April until September. I went to the county fair, and he was out at that time, and he was following me around at the county fair, and I called my mom, who called the prosecutor, and when we went to court, we ended up going to court. I think it was my first week of school, my junior year. We went to court, and he was placed on house arrest, and we brought up the fact that he was following me, and the judge says, "You need to leave that girl alone, this is ridiculous, I'm sick and tired of hearing about this, you going after her." And he looked the judge straight in his face and said, "Sir, I don't ever want to be here or be in this courtroom again and look at you, so I'll leave her be." Very snarky. His fiance at the time, Fiona, she was standing by her man the entire time, claimed that he did nothing wrong. To this day, a lot of people still think that she should be charged. I personally will not give you my views on that, especially not on something that's going on the internet. Those are for my family to know. Unless she asks me personally, she will not find out my views on whether or not she should have been charged, with connection with this. But basically, he was charged with kidnapping, child endangerment, and sexual assault. And all he got basically was a slap on the wrist, and he had to be on house arrest. Which I thought was ridiculous. The whole reason that he didn't get a higher sentence was because I had sent nudes to my boyfriend, who, clearly at that age in high school, being 15, 16 years old, clearly some nudity photos are going to go around. So they used that against me, which I really don't care. I could care less, to be honest. But my junior year was very tough. I missed a lot of class for a lot of court dates, a lot of therapy, a lot of other things. There was times my junior year where I wanted to quit school again and just go back to, being taught at home. People were still saying that I cried rape. People were still saying that I was a whore. People were still saying that I deserved it. People were still saying that I probably wanted it. You know, the rumor factory was going on and on and on and on. I lost all of my friends, so that sucked. I lost a kid that I was seriously in love with. Um, that sucked. Yeah, it was just very hard. My grades were slipping. I think that's like the worst. From my sophomore until my senior year was probably the worst years of school I've ever had. So that was really, really a hard thing to go through. But, you know, I made it through. My senior year wasn't as bad. I was dealing with some other stuff that I've made a video about later on. Well, I made this video a couple months ago. It's about my ex. But yeah, I feel like I needed to share my story because I've heard my story told so many different times in so many different ways, and none of them ever match up to my real story. Mind you, I am leaving out some factors of stuff that I do not want to discuss, stuff that is private and should stay in the case files. But yeah, this man currently, he just got out of prison. He served 5 years for doing this to other people, which I won't disclose, but they know exactly who they are. And for them to say that I deserved it is like ridiculous because it happened to you, but your circumstances were a whole lot worse than mine. I didn't want it. Can't say the same for you. So this is probably going to cause a humongous controversy. But a little PSA to everybody that went to Woodstown High School when I did my sophomore year. If you ever said that I deserved it, that I was a whore, that I cried rape, I hope you know that you literally put me in the hugest depressed state of my entire life. And I could not wait to get out of that school. You guys are so rude and so ignorant, and you always wonder why I was always flipping my lid and freaking out on all of you. It's because you guys were such asses. And I hope you realize that someday down the line that you probably shouldn't have said that. Especially say if I was your family member, you wouldn't have even said that. You would have had that person's back. So my story is finally told the way that I want it to be told. If you want to mix it up now, that's fine. At least my story is out and about. The school was very kind with me. I have nothing but praise for them. Throughout the entire thing, they always had my back, you know. But the kids are horrible. Kids nowadays are horrible. You know, the bullying starts in school and it doesn't end in school. It goes on to social media. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I just want to let you guys know, if you ever see something that does not look right, please call the police or step up and get involved. Don't just stand there. Okay? Don't stand there. To this day, I still have flashbacks. To this day, I still feel like I need to shower. 3 to 4 times a day to this day. I have nightmares to this day. I still can't really talk about what actually, what occurred, physically to me. I didn't discuss any of this in this video because that's just not something that should be on the internet. The people close to me, they know exactly what happened, and that's for them to know and for you never to find out. Unless I ever come out and, give you all the details. But I am here, and not only I was a victim, but I am a survivor. And I'm here to let men, women, boys, girls, whatever, know that if you ever need anyone to talk to, I am here. I know exactly what you're going through. Even if you don't want to tell me your story, you just say, I need to talk, fine. I have a girls group chat called Girl Talk. If you want to be in it, DM me, and I will put you in. My girls, they're all very nice. But now this is my story, and I'm really, really glad that I have somewhat of a platform to be able to tell it the way that it should have been told when it happened to me.
I waited a very long
time to, release it. But I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders because now I know that it's out and it's my version. And, you guys are going to watch it. He has another version that I've heard of, when he was in jail. A lady went to visit him. That was part of the investigation. He admitted on camera, yeah, I touched her, and I'll do it again. So, yeah, that's just the mindedness of him. But anyway, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on. I will be doing post notification shout outs. All you have to do is comment below so I know that you turn them on. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for the support of me being gone and, coming back. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are at. I love you. Mwah. Bye, guys.